and in general to keep us safe and sound as we head into the witching hour. Going out to a longtime friend of the show, Mr. Jay Crowther. You're a persistent son of a bitch, man. I'll give you that. Man, I think Friends of Hell's a better album, dude. Oh, God, don't start, man. Nah, man, music is the best tune that they ever wrote. Rod Hawks on bass. Let me just stop you right there, man, because I'm in a pretty good mood, and I know what you're doing here. This is you telling me that the Honey Drippers were better than Led Zeppelin all over again, okay? You're edgelording. Seal love any day, bro. You fucking edgelording. Fuck you, man. Don't hate on me because I got a more refined palate than you, dude. The Honey Drippers were shit, okay? What can I say, man? I got a more refined palate than you. And you couldn't tell a goddamn Matisse from a Jim Davis, asshole.
Santa mirror, drawing mirror, sign in the mirror, face getting clearer. On Halloween's Eve, gather round, glowing screen with your back.
Happy Halloween, boys and girls. Just a quick one tonight, gang, because we've got some plans tonight, boy howdy. Like, I don't want to sound like a name dropper or anything, but there's no way in hell we're going to miss a Halloween rager at Alan Thicke's, man. Come on, hurry up, haul ass. Yeah, man, relax. We got a big night ahead of us for sure, and we're going to cap it off into the wee hours of November with a barely watchable work print of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because we're miserable bastards, followed up with Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, Brinky Stevens, Nightmare Sisters. And I don't even exist below the waist and I got a phantom boner. Yeah, we better drink ourselves asexual because things could get awkward. And then, because we're all about haute couture cinema, Herschel Gordon Lewis's Gorgor Girls. I mean, I'm psyched out of my mind. But first things first, man, I couldn't pass up showing a few records here tonight that I think are really Dino Supreme for Halloween, so let's get to it. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. But there's no Michael Myers in this one. Okay? I'm sick of it. You don't like it? Alright, great. Have a wonderful day. I'm not going to get into the tired history and the mythology surrounding this one. Connell Cochran is an evil mask maker. He inserts samples of pulverized Stonehenge into his product. He's got some sadistic plan to cause children to have seizures and kind of make their heads explode into roaches and snakes when they're watching commercials on Halloween night. I mean, what's not to understand? Are you a fucking idiot? Is this too wild for you? And speaking of wild, Alan Howarth fucking completing John Carpenter in one of my favorite soundtracks of all time alongside Big Trouble in Little China. No holiday was safe in 80-81, man. And continuing that fine tradition of women in peril, popular LA DJ receives kind of a disturbing call that's threatening at the stroke of midnight in each changing time zone. He's going to commit murder. Now, what I have here, gang, is one of the holy grails from my collection. It is an ultra rare radio promo copy that was sent to radio stations by the Cannon Group. It's basically 2 songs, and one of them is actually the film's title track, which is performed by the band Shadow. It's kind of like late 70s hangover hard rock, but it's got some new wave influence as well. The song was actually wildly popular and highly requested, so much so that at the end of the film, they were actually promising to release a full soundtrack. That never did materialize, sadly. Fright Night! Poor Charlie Brewster discovers that there's vampires moving in next door, and no one believes him. Turns out his only hope is a late-night TV horror host who at first believes him even less. This is one of the most beloved vampire films of the 1980s. Totally believable chemistry between Ragsdale and McDowell. Chris Sarandon in the role of seductive, charismatic lead baddie, he ain't gonna do any better than that. The film wisely took cues from Hammer horror, in particular the relationship between Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Soundtrack-wise, it's pop, AOR, post-punk, J. Giles Band, Autograph, Ian Hunter, April Wine, Devo, and then you got Brad Fiedel, man, dimming the lights, pulling the Venetian blinds down, getting sexy all over your ass with Come to Me. I mean, come on, the zombie outbreak leads a small band of survivors to bunker down in a shopping mall that's overrun by the living dead and roaming marauders. Romero's much-loved sequel to the groundbreaking Night of the Living Dead. It's definitely the lightest of the Dead trilogy, but at the same time, the most scathing criticism in 1970s America. An all-out horror classic, but the real star of this film isn't Tom Savini's early splatter effects. No, it's definitely the Italian progressive rock of Goblin that's pulsating through these haunted grooves. Some days, man, I'm more of a fan of John Harrison's Day of the Dead score, but I flip on a dime all the time. Today, definitely Dawn. 4th record I ever owned. Even Lemon Squares, man. I have seen lighter films. Holy shit. Public outcry from critics and women's group alike over the misogyny and grisly violence in this one kind of made it the poster boy for the MPAA censorship. It also didn't help that the poster of this film had like this dude with a woman's scalp in his hands, and he's kind of got like a tempered erection. Yikes. Anyway, Jay Chataway's nightmare synths on this range from kind of like disarmingly beautiful and vulnerable to really unnerving and tormenting. Not since the Killing Fields soundtrack has like music done that to me. Phantasm. You're probably going to need to sit down here. Two brothers recently buried their brother, but they soon discovered that the funeral home director is an evil entity that transforms the funeral home's clientele into dwarven slaves so that he can transport them into a universe that can only be accessed by tuning forks. Quite possibly my favorite movie of all time for its sheer weirdness, style, atmosphere, and it's only made better by the fact that the film was originally pitched to me by a bratty little kid that told me, "You gotta see Phantasm, man, it's got some mystic pussy." At 43, that still makes me happy. Fred Myrow and Malcolm Seagrave serve up an amazing prog rock ambient disco soundtrack, a must-own and one of my original 3 records. Oh shit, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. The Sawyer family's on the run from an obviously drugged out Dennis Hopper, and this time they're setting up shop in an abandoned amusement park and running kind of a rollout barbecue catering business all over Texas. When they're not winning chili cook-offs and slaughtering yuppies, they're terrorizing a local radio DJ. This is precisely what happens when you give Tobe Hooper way too much money, man. He gets in a cheeky mood and then he gets into bed with the Go-Go Boys of the Cannon Group. An eclectic soundtrack has fun, new wave, post-punk, Concrete Blonde, Cramps, Lords of the New Church, Oingo Boingo, Timbuk 3, but the track I feel that sums up this movie the most is Stuart Copeland's Strange Things Happen. And if you look at the players involved with this cult classic, you're going to see that strangeness was inevitable. Anyways, that's it, that's all. Happy Halloween, BC! Don't forget to wear your reflective gear, only go to the houses that you feel safe, and make sure you get your parents to check your candy apples for razor blades. Running in the thick of the night.